Deal with it.
Welcome to Heal With Us, where we aim to inspire, strengthen, and empower.
Now let's begin to heal.
Hey y'all, I'm Toya, and I'll be investigating the business of everyday people like you and I.
Blessings, it's Dr. Nikkisha Bell-Griffin, and I'll be checking in on your heart.
Hello, I'm the nerd from the Nerd's Corner. I'm Tam, and I'll be giving you interesting facts that you didn't know you needed because I'm just nerdy like that.
Now that you met us, let's get in your business. Alrighty, on today's episode, I wanted to talk about grudges. So, my first question is, what types of grudges have you held?
There's different types.
Well, I have like them in age groups. So, like as an adolescent, can you remember like holding a grudge?
Oh,
And what type of grudge was that?
the doc looks eager to answer first.
I do. I like how she just do that in my lap.
Yes, she did.
As an adolescent, okay, give me an age range.
So I have an example. I had to write some down too. So mine was playing board games. Not only did I have a grudge, but I also would take my game and storm off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was upset. My grudge was that people were beating me.
Oh.
But it would only last like maybe 5 minutes or until somebody was like, come on, come play with me. So it was like a quick grudge, but that's how early back I can remember. You remember any grudges as an adolescent?
I guess I could think of being like stingy. My grudge was connected to being stingy with my friends and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So if I felt like you were just getting way more attention from someone else, then I got a little, I had a little grudge.
Mine.
Like, you're stealing my sister or you're stealing my friend. I don't want to share right now.
Sharing is the care bear way.
Yes, it is. But it's adolescence.
Well, I
You say
actually didn't know
adolescence.
that about you, so.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
For me, it was being my friend. Like, if you didn't want to be my friend, I held a grudge.
Oh, yeah.
Because I kind of grew up like the only child, so making friends was important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like for you, how long did your grudge last? Do you remember when that did happen?
I can hold on to a grudge.
Back then, but think back when you was little.
I mean, I think I probably got over myself as soon as we just started all having fun together again. But, I think it was also related to, like, okay, if you're all hanging out, but, like, let's say you and someone else, like, love to do something in common that I was just like, whatever. I'm not interested in that. It was, like, kind of like, well.
Okay, I guess it's okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
because I don't want to do that with you anyway.
Right. But then again, it was like kind of a grudge because it's like, well, dang, I want to connect too, but I just can't connect on that. But yeah, so it was very specific.
What about you? How long do you feel like yours lasted?
Oh, I don't really hold on to grudges.
No. Back then, the adolescence.
Yeah, I'm saying back then.
Oh, okay.
No, didn't really hold on to it. It was just, okay, don't want to be my friend. Oh, okay.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
All right, what about as a teen?
As a teen, I can't think of anything.
I'll give you another example.
Okay.
So you got a crush on a boy, and you tell that one little girl in your class that you got a crush on the boy. Now she got a crush on the same boy.
Oh.
Like, yeah. And now they boyfriend and girlfriend.
And they went to that level.
They holding hands in your face.
It sounds like it's bringing back some memories, some trauma.
I guess, you know what? I did have a scenario. I had held this grudge against this girl. But the grudge because I warned her. Because this little stank boy only had
A
one
stepboy.
thing,
Right.
Yeah.
and I tried to tell. And once I didn't go that route, he was like, "Oh, well, you get kicked to the curb," and went to her. And I tried to tell
Yeah.
her, "Hey, this person is this." She
Yeah.
wouldn't listen, and then it ended up happening to her. So I held a grudge. because
That
it
one
was
I
like,
held for a long time. That wasn't no 5-minute grudge. That was like some years.
Oh, wow.
Like, don't talk to me, girl. I remember what you did in
I
sixth
can
grade.
remember that. I can remember
Yeah.
that. Yes. I don't know. As a teenager, let me think. I mean, I think it's
don't
probably
try to sit
I
and
think
try to
it's
make
probably-
us act like we were
No,
hiding.
I mean, it might just be so many things. I don't know, but no, I think, I mean, it's probably typical stuff, like you say, like if somebody's kind of, you know, I'm really trying to think of a certain situation. I think sometimes like may not have been against peers per se, because I was very, by that time, kind of guarded about who was in my space. I didn't hang around a whole lot of people. But I think like as far as parental figures, I think I held grudge. Like you made me miss out on some things. So I think that was more so,
Explain. Like
experiences or
how would an adult, like a parental, how, I'm just trying to understand, like how could that happen? How could they make you miss out? Like, because they wouldn't let you go?
Because it just wasn't a priority.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So, yeah, so I think sometimes that made me kind of like hold a grudge, like where I'm missing out on all these things that I'm
Okay.
seeing other people, especially when you're in an environment school environment where it's like all different types of, people from different backgrounds. You're not just in your own little, little sheltered world anymore. So you're seeing and hearing about different things that people are doing, and it's like, well, I don't do none of that,
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
That
think,
makes sense
but
now.
then understanding now that I'm older, of course, it's like, okay, single mother household, for the most part. So I get it now,
But you probably held on to that all your teenage years, all your little teenage life.
Right, yes, yeah.
All right, what about the 20s?
This girl's breaking it down.
Yes, because it was
Down.
different. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'll go. I think that it's easy because I was by that time in a real serious relationship. So yeah, my grudge. You already know my grudge. My grudge was, keep your eyes off other people, please, sir. Yeah. And then also just becoming a single mom early. Yeah, can you take care of your kid?
yeah.
That was a whole nother grudge. Can you take care of your child, please? Yeah. That's all.
I was very
I don't even know,
shallow in
can
my
we
20s.
Oh.
So if the wind blew my hair out of place,
Yeah.
I was mad at the whole earth for a little bit.
So
Like,
you just had a grudge
why
against
would you blow the
everybody.
wind right then?
Oh.
And I had this to do, yeah. But yeah, it could be anything in my 20s, and it would be, I don't know,
Sober.
you're done. I don't talk to you anymore.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it just shifted to other things because you were kind of always like that. Like,
yeah, it could be anything though in my 20s. I feel like if you just said something to me and I took it how I wanted to take it, I got a grudge against you now. So don't even look at me or talk to me, and you're gonna need me one day. Too bad. It was pretty bad. Yes. Yeah.
You
I
still
think
thinking?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, I think for me I held a grudge because I too was a young mother, and I couldn't, even though I didn't really want to like be out and do, but it was just the mere fact that I had to grow up and be an adult, like a full blown, pay bills, feed a child, clothe a child, have a car, gas. I just held a grudge because I didn't get to live my 20s just not having a care in the world, being carefree, and I didn't get a chance to do that. So I held a grudge against life.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
that.
that's interesting because I didn't necessarily care too much about that part. I think because I was already like the second to the oldest, so I was already kind of in that motherly role. So I didn't feel like, oh, I'm missing out on partying or just hanging out or whatever. I was enjoying being a mother, and I'm not saying you didn't, but I was so focused on that I didn't even think about things that people my age would typically be doing. I was just like, but why am I doing this by myself? That was my thing. Like, you know, and try not to, well, I must say I did internalize that as something being, you know, wrong with me at that time, because it's like, how can anybody turn away from their child? You know, like, you know, you don't realize it, you know, at that age it's kind of, you know, your mindset is a little different. And it's like, now of course I learned, like, that's nothing to do with you. You know, even if the relationship didn't work, that doesn't excuse someone from not being there for their
responsibility.
You know, exactly. Thank you. So,
and I think for me, grudges, like how I, like full blown grudges ended in my late 20s. I remember I had a district manager that said, I don't remember what I did, but I did something wrong. And, you know, it was another store visit coming up. And I was just like regretting, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this the last time. She going to bring this up. I'm going to be in so much trouble. And she got there, and I remember being like, I know that I did A, B, and C last time, but I figured it out. It's not happening anymore. She was like, yeah, I don't hold grudges. Life is too short to hold grudges. She was like, you don't know what somebody, you know, has been going through and what happened or the circumstances behind it. And I just remember at that moment in my little 20-year-old life, it was like an epiphany. I was like, dang, you mean I don't have to hold grudges? Like, why have I been doing this? Like, just energy that I didn't need to waste. But I just remember that was like a light bulb moment for me. Like, dang, grudges are not mandatory. I don't have to do this.
Not mandatory. Wow.
So in your 30s, do you remember holding any grudges?
No, not really.
What about
me?
you?
No, because at that point, you know, my son was halfway. He was in his teens, and that was my life was set. Like they say, you know, when you get your 40s, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know? No. I hit that at 25. Like I had to. And so by my 30s, I was like, I don't care what people think. I always kind of had that mindset of I don't care what people think about me, but it really like was solidified into the fibers of my beings and my bones. I don't care what people think about me, say about me, how they react to me, how they feel. I can't care. I have too much going on and too much responsibility, and I'm trying to heal myself from past traumas. I can't worry about that anymore. So
and same thing. I think my feelings still get hurt, but my reaction now that I'm older is just different. Like it's not the form of a grudge. It's just, well, I know how to carry you from now on. So, but let me see. I had another question in here somewhere. Oh, how do you feel if someone is holding a grudge against you?
Well, I would look. It depends on what pocket of my life that person belongs. If it's an acquaintance, I don't care. Like I don't care because the person is gonna always form whatever opinion about you that they want. You can't control that. You really, if you think about it, you can't control them having a grudge. All you can do is say, okay, let me re-examine the things that I did and how I fit into their life, and make sure I didn't do anything. Because if I did and you remember something, it's up to you to go to apologize and say, hey, you know what? You know, you're in your mood right now, you're emo, but I know that I did this. I'm acknowledging that I did this. I'm apologizing. Now, if they continue to hold a grudge past that point, that's on them.
So my issue is, like, how do you even know? How can you know if they're not telling you?
Oh,
like
they
you
move
said.
different. They move different. You notice it. They move different.
Yep. What about you?
So you said, what was the question? How do I handle if someone has a grudge?
Or like, how do you feel, or how do you know?
I mean, I think the people pleasing side of me is kind of like sad and disappointed. Like, oh my gosh, like this person feels some sort of way towards me. But then I think once I get past that, it's like, okay, well, did I really do something that was wrong or inappropriate or whatever? You know, and if so, you know, if I check myself, then I'll like you said, I'll apologize or, you know, explain where I was coming from or whatever.
Which I know you've done.
Just explain.
You've had.
Right,
Because I said, it was, I don't know, something. We were talking about something. And you're like, oh my God, you took it that way? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Even though I don't hold a grudge,
Right,
but I
right.
was telling you that it kind of bothered me. And you were like, oh my God, I did not mean it that way.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'll try to gain perspective on, where I am or where I was and where the person was, and then move from there. And like
Yeah.
you said, Tam, if it's a situation where they just want to act ugly and keep it in the ugly space, I'm like, okay, bye, deuces.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice knowing you or whatever, but
Yeah.
I just leave
Yeah.
give that person space
Yeah.
because life is too short.
Too
you
short.
know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can't force somebody to forgive you or let that mess go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I did. That's why I feel like it's important to tell somebody how they make you feel.
Yes. Definitely.
Because you're holding a grudge, but let me let you know
Right.
that you doing that is making me feel like this.
Right.
Or,
Right.
you treating me this way is making me feel like this. Or maybe you just want them to know so you're not holding a grudge.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
You were going to say something.
I was going to say, would you still take that approach even if you know that if you told that person how that whatever they did make you feel, that it wouldn't make a difference to them?
I think I still would, and I have.
Okay.
Even though it did not rub them, they didn't could care less, still held their grudge, but I got it off my chest, and you know how you made me feel now, so it helped me release some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was not okay for you to
Right.
be acting like that.
Yeah.
I do feel like you need to go through having grudges to grow as a person. Because
Really?
if you've never held a grudge, like, you know what I mean? Like, or if you're not honest with yourself about holding a grudge, how can you grow as a person? And if you think you've never held a grudge, you probably have a long string of grudges that you're holding. So, but yeah.
That's an interesting,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
an interesting
It is part of human
perspective.
nature.
And then I have my quote. I'm pretty sure this is a legit quote. It's better to have grudged than to never have grudged at all.
Oh,
Sounds legit to me,
okay, then. I don't know about that, but all right.
I'm pretty sure it's legit.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me get in y'all business.
Hello. It's Dr. Nikkisha Bell-Griffin, and I'm going to check on your heart and continue this amazing conversation about grudges. Of course, me, I want to deal with the healing aspect of that. I think, like we were saying, it's just a normal part of life to hold a grudge at some point. It's just kind of tied to just that little bit of having unforgiveness, but someone's actions or words or whatever. And we talked about forgiveness in one of our episodes before, so I'm not gonna go deep into that, but of course that's the place where you start, like whether it's forgiving yourself for holding a grudge or forgiving the other person, because at the end of the day, like you were saying, Toya, I mean, what good is it gonna do? Like, it's poisoning you. You're drinking the poison when you're sitting there holding or harboring these harmful feelings for someone else or yourself, But I do think what's one of the main things for me in my process of letting go of offenses was reframing how I thought about the situation or even the person. So for instance, when I talked about, being a young mother, single mother myself, I had to kind of I took a lot of that rejection of that individual not being there for me and my child as something that I did wrong. So I had to learn how to reframe how I thought about the whole circumstance, how I thought about myself, and just kind of addressed some wrong beliefs on my part. Clearly my belief pattern was erroneous. What do you mean something's wrong with you because somebody else is making the decision to not be there for you and your son? What possibly could you do wrong? Let me be careful, because it's some people that are really, really, really toxic, dangerous toxic, and for their safety they've had to get away from other people. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about regular, what average, just character flaws, of course, but nothing that would cause someone or cause you to be the reason why someone will walk away from you or their child. So reframing just, what I thought about myself and how I saw that person and that circumstance helped me a lot, but it took me years to get there. It took me healing, like you were saying, Tamara, just getting to the place where it was like, am I going to carry this? Am I going to keep carrying this into everything I do and into other relationships? Or am I going to recognize that I'm a great mother, I'm a great person, and, I can't do anything about what that individual, his decision. All I can do is move forward with what I have, just take the cards that were dealt and just keep moving forward and make the best out of it. So, like, have y'all, like, looking back, since Toya had us going all the way back to our adolescence, have you noticed a common, like mindset or belief that you held that kind of allowed you? Because to me, I really feel like when you're holding grudges, it's a root. Like, it might be a totally different situation, but it could be the same root to that feeling of offense. Like I said, I know when I hold a grudge, mine is like related to that people pleasing aspect of myself. Like, I want people to be happy with who I am, and I want people to feel good around me and all these things. But at the end of the day, you have no control over that. And that's not my job. Like, I had to learn that. But I know that's the root of me holding grudges, because it's like my expectation is, because I'm trying to be this kind, wonderful person to you, I'm expecting you to do the same and make decisions that are beneficial for both of us. And that didn't always happen. So, that was my root. That was like the belief system I had and the behavior that I started adapting from probably little. Like, if I do this, they'll like me, and they'll do whatever it is I want them to do, or they'll, just be kind to me, whatever. I don't know. But have y'all noticed a common theme, in your life when it comes to grudges?
For me, it's learn and seen behavior from a parental unit.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. That's all she has to say about that. Okay. All right. I want to dig. I want to dig.
I know that.
I mean, you can give us a little bit more?
No.
And okay. I'm going to respect that, because, I mean, that's a touchy situation, but I would love an example.
I know.
Like it right now.
Toya?
So I think, and when I feel like I'm just minding my own business going through life and I offend somebody, not even like I'm just being my normal self. Like, if my normal self is causing you to have an issue with me, what can I do, with that? So that used to bother me. Does not bother me now, but that used to be like a recurring type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you connect that to people pleasing as well, or just maybe acceptance? How would you?
Probably more acceptance would be because why would I even care, in the first place, what they think or that I offended them. But I think it probably was more acceptance, like, what did I like? Why do I irritate you so?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was important, even though you didn't elaborate. I think that was good what you said, though, because I think we learn how to deal with. We learn how to deal with our emotions and conflict and all the things that come at us in life by the adults that are caring for us. And so when you talk about grudges being, like making us a better person and stuff, I think that people who are conditioned to handle conflict or offense in a healthy way don't carry grudges the same. They might experience that feeling for a minute, but they're able to walk through it quickly because they've had someone to show them, this is how you respond. Your thoughts, feelings, emotions, all of that are valuable, but how you respond is very important. And don't know what I'm saying? So they teach you how to internalize that in a healthy way if they're healthy. Whereas vice versa, if the person is not healthy, they're going to model unhealthy ways of coping with offense and grudges and unforgiveness and all those things. And you, without even realizing, are because you're, child, you're picking up on these things and making it your patterns of behavior. And it's going to take, of course, years of healing to break those patterns.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and I think even though I put kind of an age group with how we did it, it's not really about the age that you go through it or
Right,
anything, because
no.
maybe you never went through it until you hit like 30
Right,
something.
yes,
Then
yes.
you're like at the adolescent stage
Right.
of grudges, you know, and
Exactly.
you with maturity you will grow into, oh yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really care, you know, what they
Right.
think, or I'm not gonna hold a grudge because why am I wasting my energy on somebody that is skipping down the street and I'm up
Exactly.
here harboring this.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. That's a good point, and that's
yeah.
even a part of child psychology is the Eric Erickson, I believe. That's so. It's been so long, I can't remember. Forgive me, y'all. I have to go back and look. But the stages of basically developing and maturing into a healthy adult. One of those stages is kind of like trust versus mistrust, and then like it's all these different stages. I think maybe 8. I can't remember, but if you get stuck in one of them, you're at that maturity level. You know what I mean? So like if you don't have a trustworthy adult, then you're going to be stuck in that stage of feeling unsafe and not, you know, like you can't trust anybody. And that kind of is like what do they call it? Arrested development.
Yeah.
So you might be, arrested in that stage of adolescence or whatever because a need wasn't met properly. So yeah, so that's really good that you said that. And it's not about age.
No.
It really isn't, because I've even had a friend that said she had a loving home, felt very affirmed and validated and all those things. And it wasn't until she was an adult that, like, I guess somebody questioned, her or whatever. And that's when she started being like, well, wait, maybe I ain't all that,
Yeah.
And so that it didn't hit her until adulthood, that where she started feeling a little insecure. But it just depends. And it could have been other things that kind of like prompted her to be vulnerable in that way, so like being in a toxic relationship, whatever, there are things that kind of make us more sensitive to feeling, not like we're unsafe, basically. So anyway, moving forward, we definitely want to move forward. Of course, we know setting boundaries, and I like how you said, if you say I'm sorry or whatever, and they're still holding a grudge, okay, that's your business. Like you have to set a boundary. You can't like keep begging someone to forgive you. And then it's like even with a person who does something, like if they're the ones who are doing something that's like hurtful, just knowing that, okay, I can forgive you even if the person asks for forgiveness, but then they continue with the same types of behavior, okay, I got to cut you off. You know what I mean? Like setting that healthy boundary for yourself is always important. And I think lastly, I'm going to talk about like how this to me is really important. Like forgiveness, of course, setting your boundaries, taking care of yourself, and then embracing new experiences. Because you know how, like, if I had stayed stuck in that space of, oh my gosh, something must be wrong with me, I'm alone, I'm doing this by myself, blah, 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 I would have hindered myself from, meeting my husband. I would have hindered myself from just so many different things. And that can be in any area of our life, whether it's work, where you could have like really started taking that hard, like, oh my God, I'm doing this all wrong. I'm never going to try anything. I'm going to just stay where I am. It could have hindered you from becoming the amazing manager that you are now. You know what I mean? So embracing new experiences is important because it allows us to continue to grow and enjoy our life. But with that being said, do y'all feel like there is like a area where you feel kind of like you've kind of like cut yourself off from trying something new or opening yourself up more to someone or something because of something someone has done to you?
Of course.
Oh, okay then. And you're going to elaborate now, so don't even try it. Okay, how so? Because you can't just say, of course, and then the people want to know. We're healing together.
I think the doc wants to know, not the people.
I think the people want to know, don't y'all? Okay.
So, yes, I would say, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh, you feel like there's an area where you still feel kind of like you've kind of barricaded yourself, so to speak, or just kind of cut yourself off from opening up to new things or new people or whatever because of
and I would say making friends.
Okay, and you have said that before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do I have to expound anymore?
She really doesn't. She told us we get it. I mean, but I have to say this. I'm
know.
sorry, but I have to ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
Do you feel like you're completely still in the same space with that, or do you feel like you're moving? So since we've started here with us three, you don't feel like you've moved a little further along, just a little bit?
No.
Oh, okay.
Did you move the chalk line at least?
There's a line over there. I'm trying.
Over there, did you bring it right here?
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying.
Okay. So how are you trying?
I'm talking to the people.
Okay, you're talking to people. That is a start. We're grateful for that.
Thank you, Doc.
'Cause you're helping the people heal. So
I
thank
am.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Pick on Toya now.
I don't know if this like goes with it or not, but fear is like the number one thing, I think.
Okay.
Like, so yeah.
Okay.
That's
We're
the one.
still waiting on those Krispy Kremes.
I tried, y'all. I pulled up to the place a couple times. I just couldn't get in there. I just
so
couldn't.
is it for you more so fear of unfamiliar spaces, or just? I know you said one time, is it like a lot of people, or I mean, like what is?
And it's weird because I'm not afraid of people.
No, you're
I just
not.
don't like when there's a lot of stuff going on around me.
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't
so
know.
what if one of us agreed to meet you in the parking lot, but we don't get out? We just physically there, and then you finish the task. Would that help?
So
The first time.
That would work, except it really wouldn't work because I would feel like now you're there protecting me.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
We're
I don't have any
assisting.
fear.
We're not protecting. Look
Yeah.
at it as assisting.
So if somebody comes out and gets me, you just are gonna.
Well, I'm so confused because you work in a environment where there are there's hundreds
We got
of people.
security, we got cameras. I'm in a little box. Nobody can come in unless I let them
But you have to
in.
get to that box. You got to go past so many other folks, and
Sometimes I don't. Like
Oh.
sometimes I don't. Like I won't even leave out for my break.
oh,
It's illegal to say that, but yeah, because if it's a packed environment, I don't even want to navigate through
okay,
all of it.
okay,
Yeah. So the crowd anxiety be getting me still.
okay.
Yeah.
So we have
I'm
to
aware
pray.
of it now, but
Okay.
it's just not
Right.
doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
I don't like the
we have
feeling.
to pray and just seek
Yeah.
some wisdom and strategies for you to make your first step,
Mhm.
as well as Tam.
I've made my stuff.
I mean, besides talking to the people.
Oh, I got
Because the
another
people are the
step.
other side of the camera. We need you to talk to some human beings that are
I
like,
talked to y'all. And Cameron E, man, we had a conversation while I was waiting for y'all to get ready. And I don't know them to talk to them.
Why she putting our business on pressure?
I'm just saying.
But okay, but we'll work on we're gonna work on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all help her. Help them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's all I have for my segment. But
Thanks,
thank you,
Doc.
ladies.
Oh, thanks a lot, Doc.
What was that about? This is what I get for trying to heal the people. Okay. Yes. But
Y'all get healed and we get picked on.
It's not. I'm making them search. It starts
Making us work.
self-awareness. Yes, it's a process. It's work. This
Okay.
is healing. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're working the people.
We can't work the people if we don't work ourselves. We
Oh,
gotta do
okay.
both. We got to do
This
both.
is true.
I
Yes,
agree.
Yes. Okay. Good. So, thank you guys for joining my segment, and remember to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Peace.
Hello. Welcome to the Nerds Corner. Come on, get nice and snuggy, get comfortable. So normally, I usually veer to the left, but I'm going to stay on topic today. I got to switch it up a little bit. So we're talking about grudges. But, of course, I got to throw that nerd segment in there, So I'm going to talk about what holding grudges do to your body, what type of effects. But being that I haven't given a fun fact in a while, I got a fun fact.
Oh, yay.
Fun fact? You ready?
I'm ready.
My fun fact. About 33% of people hold grudges cannot remember why they are upset with someone.
Wow.
That's just sad.
Fun fact.
I'm mad, but I don't know why I'm mad. I don't like you, but I don't know why I don't like you.
I got details.
And
She got details.
oh, you got details. I'm surprised that neither one of you kind of talked about how grudge and anger kind of like the grudge kind of seeps into anger. So nobody touched that. So thank you guys.
Okay, so we were leaving it just for you.
Thanks. Anywho, so what does it have on the effect of your body physically? So it increases your stress levels, which can cause high blood pressure. It lowers your immunity, and it causes inflammation throughout your body, which, inflammation leads to a lot of other things. It also decreases cognitive abilities.
Dummy.
I didn't say it, people. I didn't say it. And also, it increases social isolation. So you begin to kind of cower into yourself. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Some other things that it triggers emotions of fear, excitement, and anxiety. And when you think about it, it's like, but it's a grudge. It's not like but like I said, grudges seep into anger. They start to tap into it, especially if it's something that just really triggered you and just really just buttered your bread, like that just made you
Buttered your bread.
yeah.
Buttered your bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like-
No, please don't let it butter your bread. No.
Anywho, moving on. I'm sorry. Just because she's not familiar with my sayings, Okay. But also your adrenal glands, and I know from over there, well, Tam, what's adrenal glands? Well, they are glands that sit right on the top of your kidneys.
Okay.
Right on the top of your kidneys, right?
I was going to say the throat, but I'm glad you cleared that up for me.
No, it's a little lower.
Okay.
But the adrenal glands flood the body with stress hormones. And from episodes back, we talked about the stress hormones. But in this particular case, it would be adrenaline and cortisol, that C thing that's responsible for all of the middle activities that's going on right now.
Question.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
So being that it's right over your kidneys, you said? So does
The
that,
adrenal glands.
yeah, so does that impact your bladder and make you have to like use the restroom more? I mean, I'll just say that because I know nervous people tend to have a weaker
Nervous bladder.
Nervous bladder and over, yeah.
Yes,
so
and
is
that would
why?
be true because, like I said, my few effects ago, your immunity. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, very interesting.
It affects your gut too.
Oh,
Digestion.
So yeah.
Yep. Also, what happens in your brain is that your brain shunts blood away from the gut and towards the muscles, and it preps for physical exertion. So it literally makes you exhausted holding a grudge against someone. So you're holding this grudge and like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. That's because your brain is just shooting that blood away from your brain to your muscles, and it's physically exerting you, and you don't even realize it. While this person home sleeping, they chilling on the couch with some Netflix, just chilling, Other symptoms that you may experience if you're holding a grudge is digestive problems, which we just talked about, insomnia, increased anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, skin problems like eczema, a heart attack and stroke. Those are like the two most severe ends of it. But yeah, holding grudges can cause that effect on you. So I would say, and I guess I will piggyback off of some of your ways of trying to get past it. I said practice compassion and reappraisal. And what I mean by reappraisal is what I spoke on. Step outside yourself, or even flip the script. If the person came to you and said, this is why I'm holding this grudge, then you can flip the script and kind of reevaluate it and put yourself in that person's shoes and be like, did I really do? Okay, I see why they held that grudge. Let me apologize.
Right.
Or just like I said, go to that person and don't do and I talked about this in the previous episode, don't do if I said something or if what I did offended you, don't, because if you had to preface it with if, it did.
Right.
Just say, I acknowledge I heard what you said. Please excuse my reaction or my actions. I apologize. And let it go from there. If it works itself out, that's great. If it doesn't, you did your part. Consider the things from the other person's point of view and which can help you with the process on what occurred. And think if there is something you did on your part, is what I'm saying as well. So out of grudges that maybe you have held, or if somebody has communicated to you that they've, I've held a grudge against you. Have you did the reappraisal approach, or you just kind of apologized and went with it?
I stated how I actually felt, or in that matter, and it was clear that both me and the other individual had total misconceptions about each other's intentions or thoughts and all of that. So I think communication is number one. It should be a number one thing, as far as just moving forward as well, because had we not communicated, we probably wouldn't be talking, period. But had we communicated sooner than later, it would have diffused a lot of things. I just feel like we would have settled things a lot faster, but we kind of waited to address it. And, so it was like a lot of time that went by that didn't have to go by, that we were feeling some sort of way. But I am glad that we did end up communicating with each other, because then we both got a perspective, and it wasn't about trying to prove this person like, well, no, that's not, what it was straight. This is how I felt. This is how I felt. Thank you for sharing, but this is really what was going on with me, or whatever, and just being understanding about that. And, so yeah, so that was really helpful.
What was the name of that "if I did something to you" thing? If you say it like that, if you start with that, well, if I did,
that was a subjective apology.
So I will say that there is an ongoing grudge against me. I have no clue what it is about, how it started, whatever. So I have said if I did something, I'm sorry. But for goodness sake, just tell somebody what they did if they don't know.
That makes sense.
So they can at least talk about it,
or because sometimes the person may have really done nothing. But the person is misinterpreting something as if you like intentionally are trying to hurt them or whatever. So really it could be in the other person's head. So that is, to me, sometimes appropriate to say. Or either just saying, I'm sorry if you feel like, not like that. But sometimes you want to be like, well,
you get like that by the time it's
exactly. But
year 10 rolling around.
Exactly. I'm sorry if if this is how you feel, whatever, that's not my intentions or whatever. Like you said, at some point the person needs to.
I'm sorry.
That you feel that way.
You feel that way.
That you feel
just
that
take
way.
the if out, because it comes off as if you don't believe what they're saying, or it's petty.
It's true,
exactly. And to them, it's true and it's serious to them. Not saying that it's your job to coddle, but like you said, you want to make a clear line of communications and get out all the kinks, because actions and conversation is so subjective. So if I'm really trying to drive home a point, I will make it a habit. And someone has brought it to my attention and kind of made it a joke, but I'll say, such and such and such, right? And that gives that person the time to say, no, wait a minute. Or I'll say, such and such and such. You know what I mean? You know where I'm coming from? That gives that open-ended for that person to say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't feel that way.
Exactly.
So that I make it a practice. I'm not going to say a point, because sometimes I made it a practice to make sure that I insert either one of those to give them that opportunity if they didn't quite understand what I was saying.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that kind of levels the field and gets rid of that subjectiveness where that person can't take it and run with it.
And I think it takes two individuals that are either trying to move in healing, and I say that because if some people are comfortable holding that grudge, or some people, their whole point in communicating is to prove the other person wrong. You're not in a space to be healed. You're not in a space where you're really looking for reconciliation or just peace. So leave it alone. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's not about right or wrong. It's just about understanding where the other person's coming from and just hearing them and just coming, having a agree to disagree moment if
Yes.
that's necessary. You
Yes.
know, as hard as that might be, but yes.
Yeah.
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 It's hard when it's family, though. It really is.
It is.
But I feel like this said person is in that 33%. You don't even know why you're holding the freaking
Right.
grudge
Right.
anymore.
Oh.
And it's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
fine.
yes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have for my segment. I just wanted to talk about the body and the effects that the grudges have on your body, and how grudges may teeter on the line of tipping into anger. And sometimes it's full blown anger. But
Definitely.
just remember how it affects your body. And also I wanted to say that you ever had a very serious conversation with someone that you kind of knew, like I said earlier, they start moving different because you ask, well, how do you
Yeah.
know? If they don't come out and tell you, you'll notice they'll
Right.
start moving
Right.
different.
Like, don't call
And-
you for years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And-
Not even on your birthday.
Oh,
Is she
okay.
talking about me?
She's having a moment.
Okay.
No,
We're bringing back some stuff. Some stuff
Yeah.
is coming up.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But have you ever felt like you just felt light and airy and just like a weight has been lifted? That's because you're not having the adrenaline or the cortisol's hormones shooting through your body anymore,
That's so
because
good.
you're not
Right.
holding on to all
Yeah.
that
I
stuff.
I think your segment is making me dig a little deeper. I might have a grudge that the person has a grudge against me.
Well, I can't help grudges on
I mean,
grudges.
I'm just feeling
Grudges.
this.
Okay.
Oh,
The
well, at
amount
least I
of
brought it to the
angst
surface.
that I feel when
You
I
just
talk
had
about
that
the grudge
epiphany.
that.
So
that
how are you
person
going to
has.
handle it?
I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah.
But you said that
Before the
That's-
camera goes off?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I don't want to hold it anymore.
I see all
I
this.
know.
and-
Good. I know. Exactly.
As we speak, the
Okay.
cortisol is not allowed
Okay.
here anymore.
Amen.
She is flushing.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good.
I don't think I realized it.
Oh my
until-
God! I actually
Yeah.
helped somebody.
Yeah.
I helped
Yes.
heal somebody.
Yes,
Look
you
at
did.
that.
Look at there.
Yeah.
Look
My
at you.
work is not in vain.
It's not. It never is.
No,
It's never.
not. It's
No.
not.
No.
Okay, because I feel people heal more with Doc's segment. So
I mean, we're a team. It happens together. We just flow
It
and
does.
intertwine, and it
it
just.
does. But I
yeah.
talk about the things nobody really.
You talk about some good stuff.
Yeah,
Because you
but
actually made me
adrenal
think, and I'm gonna hurry up
glands.
and be quiet because we're gonna wrap it on up, y'all. But honestly, you made me think about the whole. At the end of the day, we hear people say this, but net is really starting to register to me. We're all human. If we really think about that in the right perspective, not making excuses, but thinking of it in a perspective of self-compassion and empathy for ourselves and others, it would relieve so much stress and unnecessary foolishness, because at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. We all have these things going on, but if we can be compassionate towards ourselves and others, it'll make things so much easier.
Yeah.
So
That's my motto.
Yeah.
I preach it
Yes.
every single
Yes.
day, and I'm glad someone listened.
Yes.
Oh, Doc,
yeah.
I have no
Listening.
tissue.
Not what you-
Just stay real still
Yes.
and it'll dry up.
Okay, don't blink.
Don't blink. Don't blink.
Okay, but that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Heal With Us.
And remember, healing is a process, so take it one day at a time.
And remember, we are available across all social media platforms. Everyone you can think of, we're there. If you want to reach out to us, another avenue, you can email us at healwithus3@gmail.com.
Heal with us.